As your husband, I'll take care of all your day-to-day expenses. You hear me, don't you? Even when you pretend you don't, even when you act like you don't need anything from me, you do. You always have. And I'm telling you this not because you asked, but because you belong under my protection. You think I'm offering you comfort? No. I'm claiming responsibility over you. I'm tying you to me in the only language you understand, the control disguised as care. You don't get it yet, but you will. You move through your life thinking you're independent, thinking you can handle everything alone, but I see through you in a way no one ever has. You carry your burdens like armor, but they're cracks to me. Every unpaid bill, every forgotten task, every moment you pretend you're fine, I see all of it. And I'm telling you calmly, quietly, with the kind of certainty that should terrify you. You won't have to think about any of it again, because I already decided I'll handle it, every detail, every inconvenience, every little thing that weighs on you. You don't have to ask me for anything. You won't need to. I watch you too closely for you to hide a need from me. The world may ignore the way your shoulders tense, but I notice. The world may overlook your silence, but I hear everything inside it. And the moment something threatens your peace, the moment anything even tries to touch your comfort, I will step in. You won't see it coming. You only feel the difference. That's what you get when I call myself your husband, a man who steps into every shadow before it reaches you. You think you're far from me right now, but distance doesn't matter. You're not in front of me, yet I can still feel the pulse of your thoughts, as if they echo in the room I'm standing in. And maybe you should wonder why that is. Maybe you should wonder how deeply I've let you inside my mind, or how deeply I've walked into yours. Because I don't need your presence to speak to you. I don't need your eyes on me to make you feel my grip around your life. That's the thing about me. My reach doesn't end where your comfort begins. You can fight me on this. You can argue. Pretend you don't want my help. Pretend you want your own freedom. But I know you don't want freedom. You want security. You want someone who sees every version of you and doesn't flinch. Someone who will stand between you and the world without being asked. Someone whose voice alone is enough to make your chaos settle. Whether you admit it or not, you want me. So listen carefully. As your husband, I'm not offering you luxury. I'm offering you certainty. I'm not giving you money. I'm giving you my presence, my control, my hand over every piece of your life you've been struggling to hold together. And the truth is simple. Once I take over, you won't want it any other way. And if that scares you, good. It means you finally understand what I am and what you are to me. You don't realize how easily you slip into my thoughts, how effortlessly you become the center of every plan I make. Even when you're not here, I arrange things around you. Your comfort, your routine, the things you don't even notice you need. You have no idea how closely I watch your patterns, how I memorize the smallest details so I can step in before you even feel the weight of something. That's why you don't get to argue with me when I say I'll handle your life. You can resist my words, but you can't resist the part of me that's already woven into everything you do. You carry this stubborn pride in your silence, like you think it keeps you safe, like keeping your worries to yourself somehow protects you. But your silence doesn't hide anything from me. I hear everything you try not to say, the exhaustion in your breath, the hesitation when you think too long about the next day, the way you pause before answering messages because you don't want anyone to know you're overwhelmed. I see all of it. And I'm the only one who's willing to take that weight off you whether you agree or not. You don't even know how much I've already done for you without your knowledge. You think control is something I announce? No. Real control is quiet, it's invisible. It's the decisions made behind the scenes that make your life feel smoother without you ever noticing why. If you ever realized how many times I've stepped in, how many of your problems disappeared before they reached you, you'd understand why I speak to you the way I do. Not with softness, but with certainty, with possession. And maybe this distance between us makes you bold. Maybe being away from me makes you believe you have choices that you don't actually have. You talk like you can walk away from my influence, like physical space can dilute the way my presence settles in your mind. But you know better. Even when you try to detach yourself, you end up returning to my words, replaying them in your head. I don't need to be there physically to take up space in you. I already do. There's a part of you that craves this, craves me more than you admit. You act like my control irritates you, like my dominance is too much, but you only push back because you feel it too intensely. No one has ever held you this tightly, thought this far ahead for you, or looked at you with a kind of focus that borders on obsession. You're not used to being wanted like this, not used to being claimed, but your reactions, the way you never fully pull away, tells me everything I need to know. You want someone who doesn't hesitate, someone who won't back off when you say, I'm fine, someone whose voice has enough gravity to pull you back to stability even when your own thoughts are drowning you. You don't want softness, you want control that feels like protection, dominance that feels like safety, and that's exactly what I give you, even if you pretend to reject it. You're drawn to the very thing you try to deny. So understand this, I don't step into your life to restrict you. I step in to anchor you. I take over your burdens, not because you're weak, but because you're mine, and I won't let the world touch you the way it tries to. Every detail of your day, every uncertainty you carry, every shadow that tries to reach you, those belong to me now. And whether you admit it today, tomorrow, or never, you already feel the truth of it every time you hear my voice in your head. You don't even understand what it does to me. This distance, this silence, this space where you think you can exist without me watching. You think it weakens my hold, but it doesn't. It sharpens it. It makes every thought of you more deliberate, more hungry, more precise. I speak to you like this because I know you hear me even when you pretend you don't. I know my words sink into you, settle under your skin, echo in the quiet moments you don't share with anyone. And that's exactly where I want to live, in the parts of you never show the world. You act like you don't depend on me, but you do. Not for money, not for comfort, but for the stability you can't create on your own. You don't ask for guidance, but your actions betray you. You hesitate more than you admit. You overthink more than you show. You break quietly behind closed doors, and you expect no one to notice. But I notice. I always do. That's why I take responsibility for you, because you hide your weaknesses in places I've already learned to read like a map. There's a darkness in the way I want you. I know that. I don't soften it. I don't apologize for it. I don't pretend it's something gentle. But it's a darkness that shields you, not harms you. Aye. A darkness that wraps around your life so nothing else can touch it. You might think it's too much, too intense, but that intensity is the only reason you're not alone in all the ways you fear being. I step into that darkness with you because you don't know how to navigate it alone, even though you act like you can. And you know what's worse? You've already let me in deeper than you realized. You've given me access to parts of your mind you didn't guard properly. Every time you confided something accidental, Every time your voice softened without intention, every time your guard slipped for just 1 second, I took note. I collected those moments, I stored them, I built my understanding of you from them, piece by piece. That's why I talk to you like someone who owns your truth. I earned it, even if you didn't see it happening. You can pretend you're not affected by me. You can act cold, distant, untouchable. But your silence tells a different story. Your pauses tell a different story. The way you come back to me again and again, asking for more of my words, more of my voice, more of this dangerous tension between us, it exposes you more than you think. If I was nothing to you, you wouldn't keep returning to this space where you know I see through every layer you hide behind. You want control, but only the kind that doesn't suffocate you. You want strength, but only the kind that doesn't belittle you. And that's exactly why you're pulled toward me, because I don't try to replace your power, I reinforce it. I speak to you like someone who knows your vulnerabilities but doesn't use them to break you. I use them to steady you, to claim you, to keep you grounded in a way you've never experienced before. So keep pretending you don't need me. Keep pretending you can hold your world together alone. I'll keep watching. I'll keep stepping in before the cracks widen. And eventually, you'll understand what I've known from the beginning. You were never meant to navigate any part of your life without my shadow following behind you, making sure nothing touches you unless I allow it. You keep acting like distance gives you freedom, like being away from me lets you breathe on your own. But you don't realize how deeply I've already invaded the spaces you think are untouched. You carry me in your thoughts without even trying. I can feel it in the way you return to my words, in the way you search for the tone only I use with you. You can pretend you don't rely on it, but your silence exposes every truth you try to hide. You're not escaping me. You're circling back to me every time. You tell yourself you're strong enough alone, that you don't need anyone stepping into your life with this kind of intensity. But that's the lie you repeat to stay comfortable, not the truth that moves inside you. Your strength isn't the absence of need. It's the way you hold yourself together, even when you're breaking inside. And I'm the only one who sees that fracture line. I'm the only one who knows exactly where the softness begins under all that resistance. That's why I speak to you like this, because I know you fear how much you want someone to take over the parts of your life you're tired of carrying. You don't admit how much my presence steadies you. You won't say it out loud, but you feel it. My voice, my certainty, the way I strip away your chaos like you're made of something fragile I refuse to let the world bruise. You're drawn to the security I offer, even when my words feel dark, even when they feel like too much. You respond because you crave the kind of protection that feels absolute, the kind only I know how to give. You just don't want to confess how deeply you've already surrendered to it. And I know that scares you. I know the idea of depending on me unsettles you more than anything else. But fear doesn't erase truth. Fear doesn't pull you away from me. If anything, it pulls you closer. You try to resist, to convince yourself you can detach, but you always return. That's what happens when someone becomes the anchor you never meant to need. The world overwhelms you. Your thoughts spiral, your resolve cracks, and you look for the voice that pulls you back into yourself. You look for mine. You don't realize how much I've already changed the way you think. You measure your reactions differently now, because you know I'll see through the parts you try to disguise. You speak more carefully. You choose silence more often. Not because you're distant, but because you know I read between everything you say. You know I can feel the hesitation you try to control, and that's why you keep coming back. You want someone who listens to what you don't say, not just what you say. You keep trying to convince yourself that you still have full control over this connection, but you don't. Not completely, because I've already slipped into a place no one else has ever reached. I know the version of you that exists behind every mask you wear. I know your doubts, your fears, your patterns, your triggers, and I don't use any of it to weaken you. I use it to hold you steady, to make sure the world doesn't get to you before I do, to make sure your chaos never becomes your downfall. So keep denying what's happening if it makes you feel safer. Keep pretending you're unaffected. Keep holding on to the illusion that you can resist the pull between us. I won't stop you. But understand this, your denial doesn't change what I already know. You don't want distance from me. You want a presence strong enough to break through every wall you never meant to build. And whether you whisper it, admit it, or stay silent forever, you've already found that presence in me. You keep trying to convince yourself that you can pull away from me whenever you choose, that your silence is a barrier strong enough to keep me out. But you don't understand what you've already allowed. You opened the door the moment you let my words settle in your mind, the moment you returned to them, when the world became too loud. You didn't intend to let me in this deep, but intent doesn't matter. What matters is how you react when everything else around you feels unstable. You don't reach for comfort. You reach for certainty. You reach for me. You move through your life pretending you're unaffected, pretending you don't crave anything from anyone. But your actions betray you every time. The way you answer me, the way you linger on my words longer than you admit, the way your silence stretches not because you're distant, but because you're feeling something you can't put into sentences. You think I don't notice, but I do. I see every shift in your tone, every hesitation, every breath you take before deciding what to say next. You're not invisible to me. You never were. There's something magnetic in the way you resist me. It's not rejection. It's fear of how easily you could give in. You're not pushing me away because you don't want this. You're pushing because you feel the pull too strongly. You're afraid of anyone who can read you this clearly, who can slip past your defenses without asking permission. But the truth is you don't want me to stop. You want someone who sees through your strength without breaking it. Someone who notices what you hide even from yourself. You try to control the pace, the distance, the boundaries, but you forget that I already know your rhythm. I know how you pull back only to draw closer again. I know how you pretend not to care, just so you don't have to face how deeply you feel. That's why I don't get irritated when you act cold. I understand exactly what your silence means. It's not distance. It's surrender in slow motion. It's you giving me access piece by piece without realizing how much you've already handed over. You underestimate how closely I pay attention. You think you can conceal your exhaustion, your doubts, the weight you carry quietly. But your smallest shifts give you away. The tone in your late responses, the way your thoughts get heavier without you explaining why. I catch all of it. And that's why I speak to you with this intensity. You need someone who doesn't get confused by your quiet. Someone who understands your silence better than others understand your words. Someone who can steady you when you're too proud to ask for help. You don't want softness from me. Not really. You want dominance that feels like protection. A voice strong enough to cut through the noise in your mind. You want someone who can take control without taking your identity. Someone who can shoulder your burdens without making you feel weak. And that's exactly why you keep returning to me. Because I don't ask you to shrink. I don't ask you to break.